welcome to Let Them Talk. I'm Paul DiRienzo. We've got another great show in store for you. My guest returning is Barbara Rosenthal, or as she likes to be known, the old master of new media. Welcome to talk about being an old master of new media. And you have quite a lot going on. I mean, we need a whole, 8.5 by 14, 3-4 pages just to cover all the things you're going to be doing this month alone. So welcome, Barbara Rosenthal, to Let Them Talk.
Thank you.
So what you've been up to, besides that's your artwork behind us, so an example of your artwork's on the, you're on them, be careful.
If you want to see it, I got to get out of the way.
All right, well, I have to get out of the way. You're all right.
Okay,
There, see, she'll handle it. Have a seat. Don't worry about it. We got it all under control.
I love techies. Techies are the best. All right, on the left, well, I don't know, the white one is up at the Denice Bebro gallery right now until February 8th, and I'm going to be there that day for the closing around 4 o'clock to talk about the pieces there. They're surreal to conceptual photography, and these are the wafting connected pieces. And then on the right, the one on the black background, is a picture of myself in front of the projection as part of a mediated performance called Existential, Ultraviolet Photo Run, which I'll be doing for the 3rd and 4th time in Italy in different cities coming up in February and March.
Wow, quite the world traveler. So let's see, do you want to go through these events from the beginning? Is that it? And just go through each event that you're going to be at? Or do you want to start in the middle or at the end? And
I leave it to you. It's your show.
All right. So, well, let's see. So you have some shows coming up here in New York before you leave for Europe, right? And here is coming up. It's still happening, right?
Oh, Denice Bebro, it is definitely
Denice Bebro is still happening until February 8th, right?
And she put me on her artsy page. So if you check my website, barbararosenthal.org.
barbararosenthal.org.
The calendar page has the artsy connection, which has a whole lot.
Great. So it's photo-based art, and it's closing on Saturday, February 8th, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., and you're giving an informal talk Saturday, February 8th from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Denice Bebro Gallery, and that's at 529 West 20th Street, 4W, right? That's not far from here in Chelsea. And let's see here. Do you want should I read your bio? Is that all right to read your bio? Do you mind me reading it?
Sure.
All right. Born in the Bronx. And I was born in South Yonkers, but you're the Bronx, 1948, and living in Manhattan most of her life. Rosenthal is presented in the context of other artists, producing prodigiously in the 5 boroughs of New York City. Works from Barbara Rosenthal's series, Surreal to Conceptual Photos, Wafting, Connected, will all be in this exhibition and will be included in the Denice Bebro Fine Arts pages of Artsy, we were just discussing that, along with other related Rosenthal Surreal to Conceptual Photography. In addition, Denice Bebro Fine Art has included her in their Artsy Artist. And here's the address, https://artsy, artsy.net, Barbara-Rosenthal. And on the closing day of this show, she will talk with visitors about her process for this project and how it relates to all her work and her 50-year career in art. All right, there you go. So tell us a little bit about surreal. That's what we were just looking at.
Well, by surreal, I mean that it comes out of a dream state that I photograph in. No matter where I am in the world, which is a lot of places, the pictures are more about what's happening inside my mind than they are about what I'm photographing. They're not documentary in any way. They're not, travel photos. But you get, in some sense, the flavor of the place. But these tiny houses and these weird.
When did you have your first surrealistic episode? I don't know how else to think of it.
When
did you first enter into this world of surreal to conceptual art and photography. I mean, I can remember when I had my first surreal episode when I was in high school, actually. But I had a chemical help. I took organic mescaline in a pack. But did you?
I was
just come
actually
across
kept
it?
off of the high school honor society because the administration thought I was on drugs. The school psychologist, John DaCosta, may he rest in peace and forever go on through heaven, finally eventually told them that no, Barbara Rosenthal is just way out there. She doesn't need any help. And then they not only invited me into the honor society, since I was the highest grade girl in the, that's how we did things. The highest grade boy was Norman B. Culp. Anyway, so I was the highest grade girl, and they eventually invited me into the honor society and asked me to do the incoming speech, which I read. We didn't rehearse this. Who to be Emerson, who would be a man and sick, must be a nonconformist. But I never tried. Oh, you have your radioactive thing. You got me into this. Okay.
Oh, right. That's what started it all.
I never tried
my
to
Geiger
be.
counter.
I never tried to be a nonconformist. I tried to just get in. I wanted to be in. And
I was a total nonconformist. I had a lot of problems in high school.
Good for you.
I know. It made me the person I am today.
I already knew by high school.
Great. So, but it's surreal. Did you call it surreal? When did you start? When did you learn about surrealism? I mean, when did you adopt surrealism?
Actually, I think of my own self as a kind of neo or different. The surrealists, the supposed real surrealists, Merritt Oppenheim, Dali, they kind of, I think they were working actually from a different part of their brain. They were trying to find things that didn't coordinate, didn't associate, and deliberately put them together. My things just come automatically from my mind. I see them automatically.
Yes.
From my mind, and then collect things, and then begin to put them together. I'm not trying to make amalgams of things that don't match.
Right. Cool. So let's. So that's it. So I've been there. I saw the show. Right. I think I was
The
at the
Bebro
opening
show.
or the Bebro show. Right. And so you're always doing. You're very busy. I mean, you're everywhere all the time. And then so now February. So this is barely over on the 8th, and you're launching. You're having your book launch.
Yeah, I'm launching some books that I did like being okay. So this one.
Yeah, there it is. You got it. Yeah, that's it. Just hold it. Move it a little towards me. wait, you're dropping all your books.
I'll pick them up in time.
All right.
Duel to the Finish is 100% mine. This is just a mock-up. I publish everybody's books first, and I'll get to mine last. So I organized it's 140 poems or something. I organized the book by the ones that look alike on the page. I mean, that's the sort of data thing. It's Duel to the Finish, erotic poetry of love, chagrin, and irony. Love, chagrin, and irony. So it's like jokes about love and sex. Okay, I'll read one. One Night Stand, number 2. I have two poems called One Night Stand. One of them's called One Night Stand, number 1. This one's called One Night Stand number 2. I'm just reading it random. Again, another nightstand with a guy's revolting tooth care and body hygiene products, all a clutter and cat hair tangles.
That's your poem?
Yeah.
Very poetic.
Some of the poems are like only one word.
Really?
Yeah, the ones at the beginning.
Is there a one-word poem?
Yeah, but I don't know if it's in this mock-up.
Great. One-word poems, pretty interesting. That sort of goes.
Well,
against-
come on. Okay, but
So people can learn more if they go to your book launch
all right,
by your
but
poetry.
I'm not just launching my book. I have a small press, so I publish some books by some other people too.
Right. You're gonna publish mine if I ever get around to writing it.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, so I'm publishing this book by Alan. He's calling himself these days Alan Douglas Coleman. We used to just call him Alan, and he's known famously as A.D. Coleman. So he's publishing this book called. I'm publishing this book by him called Poetic License, Poetic Justice, a footnote to the London March by David Antin, with a commentary by Charles Bernstein. So basically, David Antin wrote a piece called The London March. Alan wrote this called Poetic Justice. Charles Bernstein wrote a commentary.
And they
I
put it
published
together
the
in one
book.
book.
And then I'm also doing this book by Barry Wildstein. He's a poet. He's the editor of American Book Review, who very kindly published a very positive review of my novel, Wish for Amnesia, that I talked about
Time on the Move.
the last time I was here. Time on the Move is his title, and it's some very lovely poems by Barry about time and movement. Like, we're all like 60, 70, 80 years old. Barry is actually going to be 80 years old on the launch date, which is why I busted my ass getting
The new 60.
getting these things out. Well, I don't know. It's the new 60. So he did all the poems, and I did the photographs. That's why I wanted to publish this book, because when I heard him read, I kept seeing my pictures, and it's good to get them out there sometimes. So the book looks like this.
Right.
And
how can people learn more about these books?
I got one more.
Okay, go ahead.
Jeffrey Cyphers Wright. This is actually the second edition, because the first edition, I let him do whatever he wanted, and the poems and the pictures were a little bit discombobulated. So over these last couple of years, we got them more. Okay, we got them more on the page, like, so the words are as pictorial, but I'm very careful about designing, because you could just get like really carried away.
Did you do this design of the book, inside of the book, or
Of course.
you did all that, right?
Every time there's an outside designer, I can't tell you how many things. I lost Charlie Morrow as a probably even as a friend, but certainly as one of my writers, because his outside designer kept getting rejected by the pressman because of the margin. And I mean, things happen with outside designers. I wanted to publish Zora Litsky. She had an outside designer. I mean, you got to trust me. But you see how the words work?
Sure.
The
Patience
words
like
and
this.
the word, when you see words on the page, they affect your eyes and your body and your voice.
Okay.
You know, merry widow, velvet hammer, belt as a verb. You read things differently because of the sizes and the placement. So that's what we did. We collaborated on the design of this rather than have the two of them together. So I got these 4 books that are coming out on February 11th. No, sorry.
13th, it says. Thursday, February
Don't
13th.
trust me with a number, man.
2020, 7 p.m.
I see.
I see.
Get there at
It's just 2
6:30.
numbers there. That's the reception. The reception's at 6:30.
Yeah, so you should definitely have a couple of glasses of wine before you hear us
Right,
read
definitely
these.
need a couple glasses of wine. And that's at Lipton Fire. Lipton Fire Art and Culture, 175 Rivington Street. right? New York, New York. And we all know where Rivington Street and 175 Rivington Street.
If we don't, we got Google Maps.
It's right there in the Lower East Side, our favorite place. And Lipton Fire is pleased to present readings and images by the authors of this 2020 book list of new editions by the two presses collaboratively edited and designed by Barbara Rosenthal at emedialoft.org, Xanadu Press, and Washington Street Press. And you just went through the books. I don't have to read them again. We just saw them. So that's happening. So that's a big invitation for folks to come at 6:30 p.m. to Lipton Fire Art and Culture, have a glass of wine, and then learn about the books, which are, you can see, are beautiful books of poetry.
We're selling them, and you could sign them. They're about
People will be
15
reading,
bucks
I'm sure, and stuff like that.
I hope mine will actually be ready.
So that's February 13th. But then that's the end of then you fly over the pond.
Yes. Okay, so then my first event is in Berlin.
It's right here. You want me to say the date? You remember the number? There it is. Deutschland Premiere, video Deutschland Premiere in Berlin, Saturday, February 22nd at the Bodenale Film Festival. I haven't taken German since I was a kid. Bodenale Film Festival, 8th edition, free films, cash bar. I don't know if anybody has to know that. You bring your Pfennig and your euros, and to Am Flutgraben. I just like saying German words because they're fun to say. Flutgraben. And Berlin, Germany. So and there's Bodenale.com, so you can go there and learn about it. What is it? Transitionals Morphing 1, a digital projection. Is this surreal to conceptual? Right?
Yes.
Same thing. Tell us more about it.
Well, it's like these pictures that you see behind me, but I just see a green screen. So there's like photos like this, and the originals of them, and they morph into each other, and then go to morph the next. And and I'm going to use. I have a lot of different music parts for this, and generally when I'm showing pieces in various cities, composers have sent me wonderful music from different parts of the world, and when I'm in their city, I usually play their music. And there's a Berlin composer, DJ Robeat, who has given me a lot of music, but not for this particular piece. So I'm going to use the music for this piece by Matthew Lee Knowles, who's a London composer who I've never met, but he and a number of other people have sent me music. I was going to use Claudio Scardino's for this, but I'm not going to use it here. I'm going to use Claudio Scardino's music for this piece when I'm with him in Italy later at some of the venues that he has set.
And that's next on the list that we're going to talk about.
That is next on the list.
Where are you going to go in Italy?
All over the
What's
place.
this town? How do you? I don't
Lecce.
Lecce, like the milk. Lecce, Italy.
Is it?
Spanish Lecce means milk, but I think here it's different. Lecce, Italy, a town in Italy, a city. All right, what part of Italy is Lecce?
Southern Italy on the Adriatic.
Oh, beautiful. So
it's just a little south of Brindisi. I've been there before. Claudio has a guest house. He and Anna Maria have the house that sort of like next to it, and they have this little guest house, and I can go there whenever I want.
You're so lucky. Italy, the coolest place. That's the coolest country in Europe.
Pretty
much, and they're all pretty cool. I mean, Europe is cool and it's very interesting, and there's always something interesting and historic and wonderful around the next corner. But Italy, they really overdo it, man. It's like you can't get over like the history, the stories, the beautiful artwork. It's just a collection of everything, right?
I went to a school
Italian.
there for a year, my junior year abroad.
Food is unbelievable. The wine, right? You could drink a different bottle of wine, a different grape every day for a year, and still not.
I plan to.
Good for you. Oh, I'm gonna miss you. Okay, so transitionals morphing 1. Okay, so no, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. So in contra, that's introducing, right? Barbara Rosenthal, and your installation video and discussions, which they say in Italian right afterwards, and hands and feet and other shorts.
Yeah, hands and feet. Hands and Feet I made with my students at Purchase college, something like that. SUNY purchased it. State University of New York purchased like photography students there in the 90s. I was working with computers and video systems, the Amiga computers in the 90s, and what I did with the hands and feet was composite students. I shot them all their hands and all their feet, and then put them together. So the fingers are like toes in some of the images, and the toes are like fingers. And
oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, Amiga was the old artist. Before there were Macs, you had Amigas, right? When you did artistic work, everybody liked to use an Amiga.
The Amiga was Star Trek was originally done with the Amiga, since it's an A.
Right.
Before
Apple, there was something else for artistic production besides Macs and Apples. It was called Amiga.
This was before the Macs and the.
Too bad, and people that's introduced people, a lot of artists. The Amiga introduced a lot of artists to computers and art. Absolutely. So you're going to be at the Accademia di Belle Arti?
Yeah, at the Academia.
Art.
Yeah, they got me there for 2 days, and I'm going to present my work and talk to students about their work.
Right.
So I want to talk about form and content and the outside world and the inner world. There's been an awful lot of promotion and appreciation of documentary and political, and you make art about something everybody already knows about, and you're already on their team, and you get a thing, and you're ethnic, and you like all that kind of stuff. But I'm glad you started out this by asking me about surreal and how I consider surreal, because I want to encourage artists to mine their own psyches and find things that are a little bit different, a little weird. I mean, people say, why do you put such a premium on originality? Well, for God's sakes, don't. So that is one of the things that I want to address at the Academia, and I'm going to show different aspects of my work. But when I was teaching, and I taught college for 33-something years in a lot of different subjects. I taught photography and video and art appreciation and painting and design and drawing and sculpture and art education and writing for 22 years and like all that stuff. I almost never showed my own work to my students. They were invited to my public things.
Right.
But my focus as an educator was to bring out in those individual people their own sense of the universe and the world. And that my function in the classroom was to teach convention, was to teach how to get these ideas across. Yeah. And even the question of, avant-garde and being different and all that kind of stuff is that to attempt to stay in true form, in a form that everyone understands, and then just take off with all your ideas, within a conventional form, was what I always tried to achieve. And then what I taught my students to do, and then break the form if the form doesn't work, but don't break the form because some sort of stupid, I want to be different, this is avant-garde. No, it isn't. I think true avant-garde comes when the form does not suffice, when you cannot use the form, when the form must be broken. And you don't even know it when you do it. You make, your work is dialoguing with you to become what it wants and to make you do what it wants you to do. So the more you know of classical form and the more you try to put original ideas into classical form, the more your ideas will communicate.
Yeah.
And then if the classical form doesn't work, then you break it.
All right. So you're going the next day after that, also in Lecce, you're going to
The bookstore.
you're going to the bookstore and read from your books, right?
Yeah,
Wish for
I'm
Amnesia, which
probably
you-
going to read from Wish for
says here.
Amnesia. There's 4 actual small sections, but 2 basic large sections that took place in Italy.
Right, and you read that on this TV show a few times. All right, so then March, you're still in Italy. March 2nd, Marconi Flacco Technical Institute, Wish for Amnesia, and Homo Futurus. What's that? A technical institute?
Well, I know what I imagine it to be. I don't know what it really is, but I am imagining it to be a school that teaches various technical things. And if they want me there, I suppose they want to know how I've used ideas in a technical way. So the most technical things are the most physically technical, of course, the morphs and those kind of, things. But what I think I'm interested in talking about is this concept that I've been developing since 1984 of Homo Futurus. And this might be the place for it. Homo Futurus is what I've been developing as an idea of the next hominid. I never thought it was going to be, we don't have the time to actually
Less than a minute.
develop a, no, I meant we don't have the time evolutionarily to develop a hominid.
That's even less time than a minute.
Yeah.
We got
So
Donald
anyway,
Trump as
okay.
president.
So Homo Futurus. Okay,
Yeah.
is going to be a genetically engineered species living in a
Right.
degraded
Okay,
environment.
last half
and
a minute, you're going-
a hive species.
Great.
Hive species.
We're going to talk about that more when you get back. Abruzzi, Italy, you're going up. Ferrara, Italy,
Abruzzi.
Milan,
Yeah,
Abruzzi, Milano. That's wonderful. You're going to see all of Italy. How you're so lucky.
Again, I
And so
love it.
thank you, Barbara Rosenthal, for joining us. Where's your website? People can see your work.
BarbaraRosenthal.org. It's never up to date.
Right, barbararosenthal.org. And I'll see you next week. Welcome to Let Them Talk and our guest.
Fast half hour.
That's always
2028?
Yeah. Yep. 28. It's like ends 2 minutes before the end of the hour, half hour. Because
Are we on? We off?
we're off. We're off.
Oh God.